PlayStation found themselves in the middle of a massive lawsuit that could have very big implications. But let's break this all down. Up next. What up guys, this is Kalo and I'm here to give you the lowdown on all things gaming. And if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to this channel for weekly video game news content. Drop a like on the video and welcome to the Level Up. Towards the end of last week, PlayStation found themselves in a little hot water within the court systems, as they were subject to a lawsuit worth $7.9 billion. Now, to offer up some perspective here as to how big this lawsuit actually is, when comparing it to Sony's recent big acquisition of Bungie, that deal was only worth $3.6 billion, which is nowhere near half of what this lawsuit is worth. So, what exactly did Sony do? Quick note here is, this is all coming from Reuters.com, and this is what they had to say. Quote, Sony must face a mass lawsuit worth up to £6.3 billion or $7.9 billion over claims the PlayStation maker abused its dominant position, leading to unfair prices for customers. A London tribunal ruled on Tuesday. The company abused its dominant position by requiring digital games and add-ons to be bought and sold only via the PlayStation Store, which charges a 30% commission to developers and publishers. In simple terms, PlayStation is forcing their player base to buy only from their storefront. Now you might be quick to think, why aren't other companies like Nintendo or even Xbox for that matter being lumped into this lawsuit? Well, this relates to how companies like that distribute their games. For example, you can go to your local GameStop, if that's still a thing people are into, and there's a section where you can buy these digital game cards. You're essentially grabbing a code for this game like Super Mario Bros. Wonder or even Halo. You can take that code and then redeem it on your home console. PlayStation, on the other hand, doesn't offer this. The only means they offer up to their users to purchase games is by purchasing their store credits through these third-party sellers. This kind of walls off that transaction to the PlayStation Store only, and this is where Sony has 100% control on their game prices. And this is a far more serious issue than most people make it out to be, seeing how the all-digital age of gaming is now on the rise. Sony currently has an all-digital console, and because Sony doesn't offer up other ways to purchase digital games, people are at Sony's mercy on their digital storefront, aka that buzzword of monopoly. This situation also brought up the matter of their very dominant position within the gaming market today, which in my opinion makes this even more fascinating. For weeks, we covered the Activision Blizzard merger and how regulators were scared of a monopoly in the world of Xbox, yet they refused to look at Sony and what they're doing here. This is all just kind of ironic, but at the end of the day, the big question here is this lawsuit valid? I think the one Achilles heel here for Sony is the fact they don't offer up those digital code cards for their games. Also, in a very odd way, this is a very cautionary tale for companies like Xbox and Nintendo moving forward. Sure, you can have an all-digital console, but at the end of the day, you must give your customers multiple options when purchasing their games. Now, speaking about Nintendo, they made a rather interesting switch. Get it? Because Nintendo Switch. Anyways, bad puns aside, Nintendo is making big changes to the Nintendo Switch Online service in Japan. Now, at first glance, this might not all be exciting, but this is a change they could be testing within Japan to then implement worldwide. Nintendo announced that Jet Force Gemini and GoldenEye are coming to the Nintendo Switch Online service within Japan. Well, this is massive news because both games were rated Z, meaning you must be 18 years or older to play these games. And because of that, Nintendo could not include them on the service. This is all without raising the age restriction on the app. Now, to work around all that, Nintendo chose to launch a completely separate adults-only app where people could play these mature games. Again, this is only in Japan at the moment, but there's a good prospect here of the app being released worldwide, and to get a bunch of these old N64 games on the app and available to the general public. Titles like Doom 64, Resident Evil 2, Turok, and of course Concord's Bad Fur Day are all N64 titles that do hold this M rating. But to be fair, games like Turok and Doom already have releases on the Switch, but of course a game like Conker's Bad Fur Day will certainly be well received by fans if it's released on NSO. But with all that being said, I'm going to pass this question off to you guys. What do you make of this PlayStation lawsuit? Is this a bigger issue? But that about does it here. I've been Kalo. I gave you the lowdown on all things gaming, and if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to this channel for weekly video game news content. Drop a like on the video, and this has been the Level Up.